Let me explain what's going on here. Coach Red Pill is engaging in identity reductionism, okay? Because he is laying out a number of different issues, okay? And it's really interesting what he does. So at the start, he chucks in a few kind of legit issues, right? So he talks about men committing suicide. He talks about, child custody courts, right? But then obviously he's got to fill 7 minutes. So he starts chucking in a load of stuff that isn't actually gendered at all. It's a broader issue across the entirety of people. So he talks about like voting and buying stuff and all of these criticisms, and it's like none of these are gendered issues, but you're trying to make it a gendered issue. You're forcing gender into this, right? So essentially, he is doing what he criticized. He's doing like what he criticized the feminists of doing, right? Where he's making it all about, oh, these are men's issues, but they're not. They're issues that affect everyone. And some of those things that he was complaining about, you could work to fix it for all people, not just for men. Anyway, so we watched that intro video. What I want to watch now, so we've got like a baseline of what Coach Red Pill is all about. So he makes these weird arguments, basically suggesting that like these issues that affect everyone are men's issues only. That's what he implies. Identity reductionism, you know. Yeah, exactly. I thought the right hated identity politics. They don't hate identity politics at all. They engage in it all the time. This is a great example of that. Anyway, we've got this video that I saw. This is what inspired me to check this guy out. Anyway, I saw this thing. Beware of quiet girls. And I'm just like, okay, well, that looks. What is? What's that? What's that about? Wait, what's this? This is only a 30-second video.
Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry I've been away for so long, but I actually broke my ankle really badly in a skydiving accident. I posted some videos on my GL channel about it. Link is in the description below. And I also want to tell you that I'm posting more on the GL channel, the Gonzalo channel. And today I have a new video out. It's called Why Women Are Intimidated. It's in the series The Trouble with Being...
I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest, right? I'm a dude and I'm getting some intimidating vibes from you. The way that you lean into the camera and stuff like that.
Smart. Please check it out. I hope you enjoy it. Sorry for being away, but I'm back now. So thanks very much, and I'll catch you soon.
This dude's such a meme. I can't believe he's got such a big following. That's wild. Okay, let's watch this video I wanted to watch anyway. So, beware of quiet girls. Okay, let's see what he's got to say about quiet girls.
Sorry I haven't been putting much content on the CRP channel, but the fact of the matter is I'm putting the content that I would have put on the CRP channel into my Patreon. Link is in the description below. And the reason I'm doing so is because, see, if I put any kind of controversial content on the CRP channel, I'm going to get banned. So, you know, what's the point of that? You know, I mean, I'm figuring that eventually YouTube is going to ban my channel, and the controversial content that I have put up here is going to be gone. And so that's why I have the Patreon. So I could do Patreon content to my supporters there, and you know, the content will remain. It won't get banned by YouTube. So anyway, that's the reason. Now this video is about quiet girls, my Achilles heel. Beware of quiet girls.
So listen, this came across as having like big PUA energy. That's what I thought when I saw this. And okay. The PUA thing is a massive grift for anyone that doesn't know. Okay, I read the book, The Game, years ago, years and years ago, and the advice in it is like it might work to like, I don't know. It's like basically it will lead you, and this is the point of the book. That's what's so interesting about the book, The Game. The dude that wrote it, essentially, the point is I engaged in this behavior and I had like a string of completely unfulfilling encounters with women, and then when I met a girl that I actually liked, none of the stuff I'd learned actually worked, and I had to just be like a normal human being in order to engage with her and get somewhere with her. So that's kind of quite telling about the whole PUA thing.
You know the girls I'm talking about, right? There are these cute little things, you know, a lot of times they don't wear much makeup, and a lot of times they sort of like go out of their way not to draw attention to themselves. But they're very cute, and they're very quiet. And you think to yourself, oh man, all kinds of deep thoughts.
Oh my god, this is so creepy. Like a woman just existing, just quietly getting on with her day, and this dude's there intellectually jerking off about it. Oh god, it's so gross. Oh, it makes me feel so horrible. It's so perverted, yeah. It's so creepy. Like, hey, listen, not women don't exist just for your you know, your pleasure. Women don't exist just so you can look at them and go, oh, look at that quiet girl over there. Oh.
Must be going on behind that pretty little face of hers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what I used to think all the time. Okay? When I was young, especially, and not so young, quite frankly. The quiet girl was my Achilles heel. The quiet girl was just my Helen of Troy. Yeah. And I dated a whole bunch of quiet girls over the years. And the thing is, see, I never learned my lesson, okay? Because these quiet girls, they were so quiet, so adorable, yeah? And I thought to myself, man, they must be really deep, right? They must have like these really deep, deep thoughts, right? Right? Wrong!
Whoa! So these quiet girls, it's, you know, it's not okay for them to just go about the business. You need to put them at the center of your weird fantasy stuff. And they must have deep thoughts as well. Oh, God.
Wrong, wrong, wrong. Quiet girls were quiet because they didn't have anything to say. Quiet girls were quiet because a lot of times they were kind of brain dead. Even the girls that did well at school.
It's so blatant. I didn't know how blatant this guy was. He's just he's just explicit with it. He just says it like he just says it. Quiet girls are just, this whole video is essentially just girls are dumb.
I remember there was one girl, I was in like middle school in the United States, like in Miami, I think I was. And yeah, Miami.
Okay, can I just say, I think I've got a little hint. I think I've found the clue. I've got a couple of clues coming through that suggest to me why this guy gets called a misogynist. Now look, I've not watched the whole video yet, and I'm not a detective, okay? But I've got a few clues as to why maybe there might be a few accusations of misogyny.
She was so quiet, and she was in my advanced math class, you know. She was like a big brain. She got like really good grades, right? And I was convinced that she must be so profound, so deep, right? And I started like dating her, like trying to and talk to her. And it's only now, retrospectively, remembering those conversations that I had with her, that I realized that she was just as empty as a bell. Oh yeah. Yeah, and this went on in high school, after high school, in college, you know, when I was a young guy out in Los Angeles and then later in New York. I'd always go for the quiet girl. I'd always go for the wallflower, thinking that there was so much there. And I just didn't understand that a lot of times a girl is quiet because there's nothing going on upstairs.
This is a real sense of entitlement as well. Like, as a man, you're entitled to a woman's intellect. You know, you're entitled to like a woman's, you're entitled to have a woman that is like intellectual enough for you, if that makes sense. It's so weird. Passively admitting to creeping on girls he thinks are insecure. Yeah, exactly. It's so ridiculous to me. It's like, no. No, like, you're not entitled to any of that. In fact, in my opinion, you're not even entitled to put women at the center of your weird fantasies like this. Like, just act normal. This is the thing for me with these people. It's like, just act normal and you'll be fine. Like, I've spent some time recently, like, I follow someone that runs an incel forum. And I've been kind of dipping in a little bit into like what's going on there and stuff. And like, it's very complicated. Some of these men are deeply depressed. But the problem you've got is they're watching stuff like this, right? They're watching this kind of trash and they're just getting totally the wrong ideas that are like filling their heads. Some of them are very anti this kind of stuff, but some of them buy into all this red pill nonsense. And the truth is like, just act like, I don't know. It's difficult, like I say, but like, you don't have to buy into all this stuff. You don't have to do all this nonsense. You really don't. This is all Fantasyland window dressing nonsense.
I'm not saying that she's stupid, okay? I'm saying that they don't have much of an interior life. In my own case, I have a very rich interior life. I've always thought to myself that if I were ever locked up in solitary confinement, I'd be, no problem. If I were locked in solitary confinement for life, I'd be fine because I can entertain myself. My brain is, my entertainment center. Yeah.
Oh my
I don't
God.
need exterior stimuli in order to amuse myself. I can dream.
Okay, let's see. I think we should put that to the test, okay? I think we should put that to the test. I think we should lock up Coach Red Pill for 20 years in solitary confinement, okay? Listen, he's asking for it. He wants to do it, okay? I'm not, that's it. Put him in solitary confinement for 20 years and let's put this theory to the test and let's see how long he lasts. Because I'm pretty sure that there's a little bit of hubris going on here. Because if it actually happened, like, it's well documented that solitary confinement causes, like, severe psychological distress. And the idea that you can just sit there with your brain, like, it's used as a torture method, Also, I think it would be beneficial for society too.
Up things in my head and have those things just, amuse me. I laugh at some of the things I think about, and which is a very fortunate thing. But see, I confuse this ability that I have. I project it out onto quiet girls and think that they have the same thing, but they don't. They're just quiet. They just don't have anything to say. And that's the point. See, you got to be aware of quiet girls. Okay, and I know it's like a weird thing to be focusing on, but
yeah, it's like exactly right to you. Maybe they just don't want to say anything to you because you're a creeper weirdo who stares at them and like has these expectations of them. Okay, here's the thing, right? You're setting yourself up to fail if you put all these expectations on it, right? You've just got like. Just talk to people. Just talk to someone. Like, I don't know. It's complicated and it's messy and it's hard and it's like great and it's horrible and it's all this stuff like talking to people and trying to like start relationships. It's very difficult. It's very complicated, but it's also easy and it's also simple and it's also hard and it's difficult and it's easy. It's such a mess, okay? But this dude with these entitled takes, like, this is terrible. This is terrible advice. Yeah. He would just be covering the walls in ejaculate, Not emotional, actual ejaculate.
I have to admit, in my own case, I wasted a lot of time with quiet girls. I wasted a lot of time and I pursued them relentlessly, even though sometimes they didn't want anything to do with me. They didn't particularly care for me, or precisely because they realized that I had such a rich interior life and they did not, they might have instinctively realized that we were a bad match, and we were. Every time I dated a quiet girl, it took me a while to realize it, but eventually I did realize it, that there was nothing there, that they were hollow. I kept with them because I was convinced, I had convinced myself that if I was only patient enough, eventually this magic door would open and she would reveal all of this rich interior life that she had. But the thing is, she didn't have it. Yeah, and I wasted my time and I was just...
What does this dude think he's got? What does this dude think he's got? Like, seriously. Sometimes, right, these fellas, I mean, they'll bring barely anything to the table, right? And they'll expect so much in return. Dusty vibes. Dusty? I don't know what you mean. The guy's a charlatan. Women are not a monolith. much in the way only the swift deal in absolutes. Only he deals in pure monoliths. Yeah, of course. Like, he's creating this weird thing of like a quiet girl. Like it's this one thing, right? What does that even mean? Like a quiet girl. Like, there's a whole bunch of reasons. And also, sorry, can we just point out as well, like, there is always something, like, I don't want to make a big deal out of it because, you know, it comes across as like, but like, the fact it's girls, not women, yeah? Beware of quiet girls. It's inherently, like, infantilizing, right? And that's the whole purpose of this. Is it's easier to treat women badly if you infantilize them, I guess. In fact, I think there's something weird to say in these people's minds anyway. I think there's something here to say about the fact that they do often infantilize women. I mean, what does that say to their proclivities? Let's be honest.
Disappointed, yeah. Because, you know, I fail to recognize that sometimes people are just boring. Simple as that. Sometimes a girl who's quiet and shy and doesn't have much to say, she's just boring. She's just tedious. She's just not worth your time.
What's wrong with, like, being boring? Okay, here's the thing, right? So, I've spoken to people in my life that, like, I haven't really kind of, like, there hasn't been that spark, you know? There hasn't been much of an interesting conversation. Now, I don't see it that person's boring, right? Even though I found them to be kind of boring. I don't think that they're a boring person. It's just our personalities aren't, like, connecting for whatever reason, you know? And there'll be someone out there that will find something interesting in that person, and that's fine. That's the way of life, you know? It's just that me in particular, I've got certain personality tastes, right? So I've got certain personality things where I'm attracted to certain aspects of personality, and that person just didn't have those things going on, and that's totally fine. It's just a normal part of dating. But, like, he's making it out like there's something inherently bad in these women, that they're just boring, right? And the other thing as well, and the other problem you've got as well with it, is like, I can't remember what I was going to say. How much do you want to bet this dude has got an opinion on objective art? Yeah, probably.
I mean, I think that what's going on is that you want everybody to be interesting in one way or the other. I think we all want the other people that we meet to have something going on for them. But a lot of times these quiet girls, there's nothing there. They're just dull as dishwater, yeah? And to try...
sorry, there's one more thing as well that's important. Sorry, one more point with this. That can often be a reflection of yourself as well, yeah? Because I've had conversations where I've been feeling a bit down or not feeling it or whatever, and, like, I've not got much back in return, but that's like a reflection of me as well. But the thing is that is just a perfectly normal part of dating, where you'll sometimes meet someone and blah blah blah, have a chat, and you just don't click. That's what they call it. You click with someone. You click or you don't click with someone, right? So yeah, it's so weird to me. So weird to me. Coach Blue Balls.
To find something within them that is really not there. It's foolish. I mean, it's sort of like dating a slut. You know some girl who's a slut, and you think to yourself, oh, well, she's a slut because, you know, what's really going on is that she hasn't met the right guy. No, that's not the problem. The problem is she has met the right guy lots of times. And
What is a slut, by the way? What is the definition of a slut? Like, what does it even mean? Slut equals 3 dicks in the mouth at once. I mean, I don't know. Is that physically possible? I don't know if that's physically possible. But in any case, I mean, there's such a meaningless term, really, when you think about it. Shows ankle. Like, does it mean she's had sex with 5 men, 10 men, 20, 30, 50, 100? Like, none of that matters to me. I don't... The amount of, like, the worst thing you can do, okay? The worst thing you can do is have the conversation with someone, like putting a number on how many people you've slept with. It's like, it's literally pointless information. It's totally irrelevant information. Like, don't get engaged. Don't get engaged in those types of conversations with someone, okay? Because, you know, for me, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter to me. But if you do have like a hang up about it, which, you know, to be fair, if you have a hang up about it, you're not a bad person, right? We as a society are socialized to perceive women who have slept with lots of men as bad. So if you've got like hang ups or are worried about the amount of men a woman has slept with, it's society exerting its influence on you. It's not a personal failing, right? But if you do have like any hang-ups or any issues with that stuff, you're better off just not knowing, because it will just eat away at you. When I was younger, I used to have hang-ups with it. I used to be very concerned with it. I used to be very bothered about that stuff. But like, as I've gotten older, you just grow to realise that, yeah, it doesn't actually matter. It doesn't really mean anything. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Anyway, let's continue.
And she wants to continue to meet the right guy. And she will continue to meet the right guy. And you're just going to be one more notch on her bedpost, for crying out loud. She's a slut for a reason. Yeah. It's not that she's waiting around for Mr. Right and, she's just trying different guys and hasn't met the right one. No, that's not it at all, okay? But guys a lot of times fool themselves. I mean, we men are past masters at fooling ourselves, which is the point I'm trying to make, see?
In some alternative timeline, Chud definitely became an incel. That is actually a true statement, and let me explain why, okay? Let me tell you why. It's because I suffered greatly with depression at one point in my life. Like, it was very bad. Very, very bad, okay? And fortunately, I was able, as an outlet, to go on dating sites and stuff like that. And I've never had an issue with, like, talking to people broadly, let alone talking to women. It's fine. It's no problem for me. But if I didn't have that, if I didn't have that crutch to fall back on, I didn't have that little bit of connection when I was at my lowest points, I could easily have become an incel. I was watching some of the incel kind of adjacent content. I thought the incel stuff was ridiculous when I heard about it, because I was like, that's a load of nonsense, you know? But like, if I didn't have that ability to speak to people, I could easily have gone down that rabbit hole, and I could be running an incel forum myself. Who knows, you know? So it's like, you know, everything has an impact on where you end up. So yeah, I could easily have become an incel. I say easily, like if I didn't have certain things happen, you know? Anyone could become an incel.
Don't allow yourself to be fooled by you. Don't fool yourself. Recognize what's going on. When you're consistently attracted to one kind of girl, like I am with quiet girls, when you're consistently attracted to that same kind of girl and it just doesn't work out, ask yourself what's going on. In the case of quiet girls, realize that these quiet girls, there's nothing there. Ask yourself, why are you attracted to such a girl? Like I explained, in my own case, I was looking for a woman who had as rich an inner life as I have. And I thought that a quiet girl was sort of like a signifier of that. That once I got beyond her shyness, her reticence.
Well, yeah, a quiet girl, like, again, it's like using the word slut. What does a quiet girl mean? It's a meaningless term. Like, everyone's quiet sometimes. Like, when I go out and I go to like a coffee shop, say, there's women in there and they're quiet, just buying a coffee. Like, I don't get it. Like, it's so strange to me. It's because he's shallow. It's a very expectant. It's okay. I tell you what this is rooted in as well. This is rooted in an expectation that women need to perform for men, right? So women either need to be, oh, I'm a woman, here I am, blah, 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 big, loud, big figure. Or if they're a quiet girl, they need to be mega-brained, right? Women can't just exist. They have to be some sort of object for the man. Right? So this is all deeply rooted in that too.
Once I crossed that Rubicon, she would show me this wondrous land of her imagination. But that wasn't true. It was just what I wanted to believe. It was a fantasy on my part. And I'm rather embarrassed to admit that it took me decades, quite frankly. several decades to realize this. And I made a lot of very, very bad decisions based on me fooling myself into thinking that the quiet girl I had was something that she wasn't. It wasn't her fault, okay? It was my fault. I made the wrong decision. I made the wrong choices. I pursued the wrong girl because of needs that I had that the girl could never satisfy. Perhaps you're attracted to a different kind of girl. Perhaps, quiet girls are not your Achilles heel, it's some other kind of girl. Whatsoever that girl is, figure out why you are attracted to that particular type of girl and ask yourself if you are projecting onto her. Ask yourself if something similar to what happened to me is happening to you in regards to this particular type of girl. Perhaps she's sort of like slutty. Perhaps she's extremely talkative. Perhaps she's this, that, the other. It doesn't matter. But if you are consistently going after a certain kind of girl, ask yourself why and figure yourself out. Believe me, if you do this, you'll save yourself a lot of heartbreak and a lot of wasted time.
Whoa! I didn't expect that at the end. This isn't too bad. I wouldn't say it slaps. It's all right. Could be. It's all right. Bit generic. Anyway, you want to see how much he makes on the Patreon? How many Patreon bucks he gets to tell men terrible information about women? Okay, let's have a look. Oh my god, he does a webinar. What the hell? Oh my god, look at that. What's his minimum? $5 a month. Yep, he's doing pretty good. Patreon subscribers at the $10 level or above receive access to over 100 Patreon exclusive videos, as well as an invitation to a weekly interactive webinar every Sunday. Infiltrate his webinar. I probably won't be able to say anything. Oh, hey Joe, how's it going? I probably won't be able to say anything though, that's the problem. Do you know what I mean? Like if I could say something. Oh wait, hang on. Okay, look. I know some people don't like Destiny here, but I've got to say, there was one really funny moment where Destiny kind of ambushed Coach Red Pill when he was doing some... when he was doing, like, I don't know, it was some event, some Ask Me Anything. And, like, Destiny hopped into the call and was just, like, straight on him. It was brilliant. He makes $11,290 a month. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's doing badly, but, I mean, it won't be exactly like that. There's Patreon fees are fairly, if they're not great. They're pretty, they take a fair old whack. But, and taxes and stuff. In any case, yeah, it's fair to say that he's doing pretty well out of Patreon, okay? Discord Ask Me Anything. Yeah, that was it. Well, I think it's important to note that, like, yes, it is easy in some ways to do this, but you need to have, like, knowledge of things. Like Coach, there's loads of channels that want to do stuff like this, but it's all about the marketing and stuff. That plays a big part. Anyway, so I'm actually taken aback. I'm actually taken aback by how explicit Coach Red Pill is in his points, and the fact that, like, he on the one hand will complain about being called a misogynist while making a video about quiet girls talking about sluts and essentially just treating women purely as objects. And this is the problem I've got with these people mainly, is they will tempt in men with like a few, like it's like bait. Oh, you're concerned about male suicide rates? Yeah, I am too. Treat women like shit. Like, how is that going to help fix your issues? oh, you're concerned about men getting alienated. Yeah, I am too. Women are sluts. And it's like, what? But what? How does that? No, I'm telling you, that's the answer. And it's like, but it ain't the answer though, is it? You're giving easy answers to complicated questions and complicated issues, essentially as a way of enriching yourself. And I think that's really bad. And that's it. That's it. It's bad.